Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today I want to continue talking about this Sauce Walka story because it's one of the biggest stories in hip hop right now, besides Big U and all the things that's going on out there in California. But this is a wild one, man, because Sauce Walka is in a situation where he still hasn't left Memphis. He's still hanging around there, signing autographs, doing promo drops, handling his business, man. And it seems like he let this thing roll off his shoulder. Now, he sent several remembrance kind of posts and condolences to his fallen homeboy, Sayso P, who was also his artist. And we had Sayso P's mom come out and speak, man. So before we get to that, I wanted to talk about the video footage that was released today. So it looks like TMZ was on their job. They was doing their thing. They went out there and they got the video footage of the shooting that took place, that took Sayso P's life, and that ended with Sauce Walka catching one in the leg. Now, the crazy part about the footage is you really don't see the impact, but you do see the people shooting their guns. You see some people leaving the cars, shooting their guns and all that, but you don't see exactly who they're hitting. And it's such low quality that it's almost hard to make out, except for the fact that there was definitely 3 hitters on a hit squad and a 4th guy inside the car as backup, and they were all out there gunning, man. It was a crazy scene to see, and wild that this actually happened in real life. But man, before we get to that footage and start looking at the pics or the still frames of what took place, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell, and man, let's get it. All right, before we check out the pictures or whatnot, let's look at the breakdown that was put out by the local news there in Memphis. So in this news story, it says this: Memphis, Tennessee. Video obtained by TMZ shows the moment gunfire struck rappers Sauce Walka and Sayso P in downtown Memphis, man. So downtown Memphis, at a nice part of this city, it looked like Sayso P and Sauce Walka were either about to go do some shopping, about to go carry on their day, because judging by the video, looked like they were just about to jump in either an Uber or their ride or their whoever was their driver for the weekend or whatnot, man. And that's where they ended up getting shot, and that's where Sayso P ended up losing his life. Now, the gunfire injured Houston rapper Sauce Walka and killed Memphis-born rapper Sayso P, whose real name is Latorian Hunt. Albert Walker, the father of Sauce Walka, told Fox 13 that the pair were only in Memphis for the weekend and that Sayso P had been living and working out of Miami before the deadly shooting in his hometown. Interesting, man. So there's a whole bunch of rumors and theories about him running off on a plug, $200K that was owed or something like that he might have stolen, things like that. I know you guys have probably seen a lot of those rumors, but judging by what was said by Sauce Walka's dad here, it seems like, according to what he's saying, that Sayso P was living in Miami. And, he kind of had that vibe, Everything about dude, when they said he was from Memphis, it struck me like, whoa, he didn't look like he was from Memphis. And I know that almost seems like an ignorant thing to say, because what is the look of a city? But certain cities have a certain look and perceive, you have a perceived notion of what people look like from a certain city, like Chicago, LA, New York. Come on, man. There's indicators that you'll be like, hey, is that guy from New York? And Memphis got a kind of grimy, gritty look, and then they got that accent. And even in the videos where you heard him talking, you didn't hear him putting the R's on everything. You know what I mean? It was an interesting fit. He looked like he was from Houston. That's why a lot of people, during their original reporting and stuff, they thought he was from Houston. A lot of the blogs thought he was from Houston. Everybody thought he was from Houston, until everybody started to do some research, looked at his social media page, saw that he was from Memphis and that he was the TSF representative from Memphis. So, I mean, with all the flashing and stuff like that, that's not something you do see a lot outside of rappers, your mainstream rappers in Memphis. Even some of your mainstream rappers, you don't see them all super jeweled down like that, you know what I mean? Because Memphis carries some danger to it. That's a very dangerous city, always has been for a long time, man. And it shares that little triangle there with St. Louis and Chicago. They got all the same gangs, plus they got all the gangs from the West Coast. Memphis is a wild one, man. It's a wild one, man. That's dangerous territory right there, man. But let's continue with this story. So in the video obtained and released by TMZ, three men can be seen jumping out of a white car parked in the middle of George W. Lee, directly across the street from the FedEx Forum. So all that reporting seems true, that they were directly across the street from the FedEx Forum, and that's where you can see them hopping out of the car and starting to shoot. So man, let's actually look at these pictures real quick to give a better description. Okay, so that's one of the pictures that TMZ had put out there and was a part of the news story where it shows them fleeing the scene. That's the black Escalade that Sauce Walker and them were jumping into or either getting out of. Either or. That's the car that got blocked in, or not even blocked in. They just jumped out immediately and jumped at that car, right? So let's see. There was another. Let's look at this one right here. All right, so there's another one of them retreating after carrying on the shooting, man, which is a horrible ordeal, man. For Sauce Walker and his team, that's got to be the worst thing possible, man. You in a town, you know it's a little, Memphis got a reputation. It's a little grimy or whatnot. But you think because you're there with somebody who's from there, you might can let your hair down for once, man. You might could just be there and be a tourist and not to have to be on 10s everywhere and on 100s everywhere and looking side to side and watching your own back and doing all the stuff you have to do usually when you're in a place where there's a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? Now, Houston is it's kind of crazy too, man. I ain't gonna lie. You had Benny the Butcher get shot out there not too long ago. You get people robbed in Houston all the time, a lot of guns and stuff like that. But that's not what Houston's known for. I think Charleston White said it best. That Houston's known for being a player town. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can wear your jewels in Houston, and for the most part, you won't get robbed. I mean, you most likely won't get robbed. People do get robbed. Don't get me to tripping, man. People get robbed. People get drugged. All that. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot in Houston. That's like the number one thing people are worried about online with Houston right now, because you got so many people going there because it's a party destination now. But they worry they're getting too loose, man. To where it's street people out here. You know what I'm saying? But man, let's continue with the story. Now, the story continues by saying this. It says, two of those men, one in a black coat and one in a red coat, run to two other men standing behind what appears to be a black Escalade. The third man got back into the white car. So you see the two guys, they leave, and they're actually going to pursue to carry out the shooting, right? And then you have the guy in the black coat, you got the guy in the red coat that they mentioned, right? So it seems like those guys were your main hitters, your main shooters in this situation. And there ain't no way this isn't a targeted hit. They took precaution to walk across after already shooting, and somebody was probably on the ground, because you could tell how they started to lower their weapons or whatnot. They still cleared the area where the car door was and just started to dump while somebody is on the ground. And all sensitivity it provided here, I think that was sayso that they were shooting at on the ground, man. Now, I gotta say this point. Mo3's manager, Rainwater, is getting dragged all over social media right now because he told a story that was different than this. He said that they stood over Sauce Walker and said, "Oh man, Sauce Walker, I ain't know that was you. You know what I'm saying? We just here to get him," and then dip. You know what I'm saying? It looks like that didn't happen because it happened so quick and in such a flash that none of that seemed like it was possible to happen. It looked like, especially with the guy in the red and the guy, because he had to go around the corner per se, and the guy in the black, they went straight to business, man. And I hate to make it sound like it's something cool, because it's not. Somebody lost his life, but that's exactly what it was, man. They went straight to whatever they showed up there to do. And I'm pretty sure, based on this, it was a targeted hit in order to take Sayso P's life, right? Now, it goes on to say that at least one of the men who ran to the Escalade appears to be shooting at the two men who were standing next to the vehicle, believed to be Sauce Walker and Sayso P. One of those men, believed to be Sayso P, apparently falls behind the Escalade while the other runs away. When the man believed to be Sauce Walker ran away, the two gunmen ran back to the white car and the car sped off. Now, in the video, you can see this, man. You can see somebody running away, man. And they're saying that's possibly Sauce Walker, and they're saying that's when the two guys ran back to the car. And you can tell their attention was off him, which is dangerous because, what if he would have, returned fire or something crazy like that? But they already saw like, yo, he's hurt, regardless, he's not a non-threat at this point, and they continue to shoot who we believe is Sayso P on the ground. Now, Sayso P's mother addressed rumors related to the motive of the shooting in a Facebook post saying this. Now, in quotes, she goes on to say, "This type of lies an expletive that keeps mothers losing our sons. My son never stole anything, never ran off with anything, didn't have to. Haters set him up, but not because he stole a dime. He would give you his last before he would steal anything. Please stop spreading rumors. Let me repeat that. He didn't have to take expletive from anyone. Money wasn't a factor for Sayso P. He was too loyal to the wrong people was his biggest downfall. Haters who were envious killed my baby. But I won't let y'all steal his legacy. People see him with a stack and say anything. This was his norm." So basically letting it be known that it was his norm to be having money out here. You know what I mean? And that Sayso P, he was really, really about getting his bread. And all these people who were saying things about him, basically running off on the plug or whatnot, that isn't the case. According to what she says, Sayso P always had money on him. I don't know what he did besides being a rapper, but that's his business and whatnot. But according to her, that wasn't the case at all. Now, also, it continues by saying Albert Walker told Fox 13 that Sayso P recently invited him to Miami to see his new studio. So it looked like he had just opened up a studio in Miami. Now, people are going to go to thinking like, where did he get the money for a studio in Miami? That seems like a pretty expensive venture. Miami real estate ain't cheap, and to build a studio there is pretty wild, man. But they saying that he had a studio out in Miami. Now, a lot of people won't let the ran off on the plug or ran off with 200K thing go, even though, his mom, she did say what she says. And, my condolences to her. She shouldn't have to bury her son. No parent should have to bury a child, you know what I'm saying? Knock on wood and all that. But most kids, they don't let their parents know what they doing in the streets. Maybe they had open communication like that. It's a possibility. But most kids, they ain't going to tell it, hey, Pops, man, I'm really out here slanging, you know what I'm saying? It's going good for me, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them guessing game type of things, and it's possible that somebody could have backdoored him, and it could have been haters, people who were jealous of his success. That is all very possible, what she said. And it's probably true, man. It's probably both things can be true at the same time, to be honest with you. Now, in quotes, he said, Pops, you got to come see my studio. I'm doing better now. I want you to come and see it. I promised I would come down there, Walker told Fox 13. So it looks like Sauce Walker's dad had taken on kind of like a fatherly role with him to the point where he called him Pops. Interesting, man. Now, the story ends by saying this. It says, Memphis police, MPD, did not immediately provide a motive for the deadly shooting, but did say that the rappers were targeted in the attack, emphasizing that it was not a random shooting. MPD also did not immediately provide details about the gunman, but did say that the officers have identified the car used in the attack and stressed that the department is working to find the people responsible for the deadly shooting. Now, with that being said, they've got the car, just like with the Young Dolph situation. It's only a matter of time before the chips fall, especially if they got a plate number off the car and them dudes was driving in a car with the plates on it or whatnot. Because remember, when when that situation took place, the white car that was used in that situation had no plates on it and had been seen in another shooting with no plates on it prior to that. It was an all-white Explorer, I want to say, Ford Explorer. This looked like, I believe it was a Dodge. It looks like a Dodge, what do you call it? You know what I mean? It looks like a Dodge Charger. It doesn't look like a Challenger. It looks like one of those, muscle cars. One of those current muscle cars, you know what I mean? But this is a wild situation, man. It's horrible to see, and it's sad the way that this turned out. You really feel for Sayso P's mom and for Sauce Walker's dad, man, because nobody signs up for all this. Okay, now with all that being said, man, what do y'all think about this new development? What do y'all think about the fact that they have a car, and I believe it looks like a Dodge Charger, man? That's what it looks like to me, man. Y'all tell me in the comments what y'all think. And can y'all see a plate? Do y'all think y'all see a plate? Or is it possible that they blurred the plate out, you know what I'm saying, to protect the public or whatnot? Because, that's a common practice in journalism. They'll sometimes block out, or most times block out the plate numbers, man. But, man, it looks like this dudes might get caught if all that checks out the beat. But with that, man, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this out content. And we out of here. Peace.